Hari Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Welcome to yet another session of Ola Sanskrita Sahitya. May I request you to turn on your videos if you are comfortable and others are comfortable. So let us start with Urubhangam. We haven't yet finished because we are like getting entrapped into our sympathy flowing towards the Mahabharata king Duryodhana, who is the stamped villain of the epic, and how Bhasa has transformed his personality, from a villainous character to a lovable human being, a good parent, a good father, a good husband, a good friend, and whatnot. So let us start reading from where we left last time. So we were reading verse number 46. Yasya vīryabalotsiktaṃ saṃyugādhvaradīkṣitam pūrvaṃ bhrātṛśataṃ naṣṭaṃ tvayyekasmin hatam. So Dhritarashtra has lost all his hopes. He has already lost his 99 sons, but now with the demise of Duryodhana, he feels his entire lineage is over now. It is lost forever. So vīryabalotsiktaṃ pūrvaṃ bhrātṛśataṃ naṣṭaṃ. I think we read this verse last time. Yes. So patati, he just falls down. Ha dhik patitaha atra bhavan tata samāshvāsaya atra bhavatim. The king says, oh father, you already have lost hope. You are the one who has to धीरज बंधाना है, ढाढ़स बंधाना है मेरी माँ को, माताजी को. So if you fall like this, who will console her? Samāshvāsaya atra bhavatim mama mātaram. Putra, kimiti samāshvāsayami. How, in which words, in what words can I console her? Then Duryodhana says, Aparang mukhaha yudhi hataha iti. Just tell her that your son died while fighting against the opponent, his enemy. He did not turn his back. He fought and he died. So it is a viragati, which is a kshatriyochita viragati. Aparang mukhaha. Parang mukha, turning back. Aparang mukha, not turning back. So I did not turn back, I did not escape, I did not evade, run away from the battlefield. I fought it bravely and I have accepted, I am embracing the death in this manner. Bhotat shoka nigṛhyātmani kriyatāṃ mama anugrahaha. So please control your pathos, your sorrow, your grief. Shoka, your grief, your sorrow, and bless me. Please bless me. How am I? tvatpādamātrapraṇatāgramaulir jvalantamapyagnimacintayitvā yenaiva mānena samaṃ prasūtas tenaiva mānena divaṃ prayāmi. Beautiful, very beautiful verse by Bhasa, in a very good mixture. I mean, Upajati, Indravajra and Upendravajra, these are the meters. Somebody asked me, Madam, you are not telling us the meters these days. So maybe at the end of the drama, I will send you the meters of every verse. Okay. So whenever I remember, I do tell. So this is Indravajra and Upendravajra mixture, which is called Upajati. And Bhasa loves this Upajati. Bhasa loves Indravajra, Upendravajra. We saw some Shardula Vikridita, long vritta, long construction of words and sentences at the beginning when the battlefield was described. It's a yathartha varnana, and for that a big meter, with 19 letters in it, that is necessary, Shardula Vikradita. But otherwise it's all these are the derivatives of the Vedic Trishtup meter. In the Vedas, Trishtup is the Chandas which has 11 letters in each line. So 11 fours are 44 Varanas, 44 these syllables. So from the Trishtup, many meters evolved in the classical Sanskrit. Okay. So whatever prosody we learn, whatever Chandas Shastra of the classical literature we learn, that is all derived from the Vedic Chandas only. Anushtup is retained as it is, and from the other meters, the classical meters have emerged. So this is Upajati, Indra Vajra and Upendra Vajra, a mixture of that. Tvatpādamātrapraṇatāgramaulir jvalantamapyagnimacintayitvā yenaiva mānena samaṃ prasūtas tenaiva mānena divaṃ prayāmi. I shall divaṃ prayāmi, go to the heavenly kingdom with mānena, with the pride, with abhimana, okay, with self-respect. With the same self-respect, tenaiva mānena divaṃ prayāmi, with the same self-respect, I will ascend to the heavenly world, yenaiva mānena samaṃ prasūtas, by which manner I was born. I always kept my head erect, I never bent my face except at your feet. I did not bow down to anybody else except thy feet. So, yenaiva mānena samaṃ prasūtas, tenaiva mānena divaṃ prayāmi. And what is that mana I have nurtured throughout my life? I did not bend down, kisi ke samne sar nahi jhukaya, and only at your feet I bent down. tvatpādamātrapraṇatāgramaulir. Maulihi shiraha. Shirasaha agrabhagaha, puroභāgaha, pranataha, nataha. Kutra? Tvatpādayoho. Tvatpādayoho matra. Only and only at your feet I have bent down. मैंने अगर सिर नवाया है तो बस आप ही के चरणों पर नवाया है, ठीक है. त्वत्पादमात्रप्रणताग्रमौलिः jvalantamapyagnimacintayitvā. I will not even care for the burning fire. Now also, normally on the funeral pyre a body is kept, not a living person. But even if you keep me now on the burning fire, I will be least bothered that the fire is going to burn my body. I am already burning inside due to the vanchana Bhimasena has catered to me, and therefore jvalantamapyagnimacintayitvā, not caring in the least for the ablazed fire, fire blazing forth, I have bent down my head only at your feet. So I have lived all through my life as a haughty, arrogant prince and a very self-respectful king. I will not bend down now. I don't want sympathy from anybody. I will die a heroic death. See the heroism, the heroic spirit, the bravery of King Duryodhana. We really fall in love with such characters, aren't we? So, yenaiva mānena samaṃ prasūtas, very beautiful word and simple language. So, reading is understanding Bhasa's verse is so simple. You read and you follow the meaning of it. Dhritarashtra says, vṛddhasya me jīvitanisspṛhasya nisargasammīlitalocanasya dhṛrtiṃ nigṛhyātmani sampravṛttas tīvraḥ samākrāmati putraśokaḥ. This is also the same Upajati. tīvraḥ putraśokaḥ māṁ samākrāmati. Samyak samantat paritah māṁ akrāmati. Something is invading me. What is that? Putraśokaḥ. putrasya mrityuna jataha janitaha shokaha. This is the shoka which is born, which is emerging out of the death of my son. Okay? Putrasya shokena janitaha putrasya mrityuna janitaha shokaha māṃ ākrāmati. And how is this shoka? Tīvraḥ shokaḥ, unbearable. Unbearable grief of the death of my son is burning me, is enveloping me from all sides. Samantat ākrāmati putraśokaḥ. How am I? vṛddhasya me, jīvitanisspṛhasya. I am not only vṛddha, I am not only an old person, I have lost all hope of life. I don't want to live anymore. I have already lost my 99 sons. I have lost my only son-in-law, my only daughter's husband, right? Now what is there in the life for me to live on, to carry on, to pull on? I don't have not a slightest of desire to live anymore, to enjoy anything or to be in this worldly kingdom, jīvitanisspṛhasya, jīvitasya vishaye mama kāchidapi spṛha adhuna nāsti. Jīvita vishaye aham nisspṛhah jātah, nishankah jātah, nirāṣah jātah. I don't have any asha to live anymore with this, with this my status. And what is that? nisargasammīlitalocanasya. Nisargena janmana eva sammīlite unmīlite locane yasya saha. By birth I am blind. So still I lived so long life. Though I couldn't see you, I experienced my 100 sons, their children, their marriage, this, that. I experienced the kingdom run by my son. So I have had everything in my life. And now it is like nānavāptam avāptavyam. I don't have anything else to be achieved anymore now, hereafter. Okay? So nisargasammīlitalocanasya, 3 very great adjectives Bhasa is using. Basically, when people become vṛddha, they have, they lose hopes of living. I mean, there are some ailments, some diseases they take over, and therefore they don't want to live. Medicine leke kitni ayu jiyenge, so they don't want to live anymore because they get vairagya because of their illness and because of some family circumstances and this and that. So ek to vṛddha, that is number 1. So vṛddhaha as it is are jīvitanisspṛhāः. So that is one karana of jīvitanisspṛhasya. Another karana may be because he has already lost everybody, and therefore jīvitanisspṛhasya. And the third is with this blindness all through my life. I have lived, with my blindness. So I don't want to live anymore with this. So nisargasammīlitalocanasya dhṛrtiṃ nigṛhyātmani sampravṛttas. All my dhṛrti, my dhairya has been destroyed today because you are going to die. You are on your deathbed. My last hope was resting on you. You were my last hope, Asha ki ek kiran, like. So dhṛrtiṃ nigṛhyā, now that dhṛrti, that dhairya is pranashya, that has been destroyed altogether, and therefore ātmani sampravṛttas, in my heart there is blazing putraśokaḥ, the shoka which is caused by the prospective death of my son, and that is samākrāmati. It has as if enveloped my body, mind and spirit. Okay? My entire personality is now being enveloped in the tīvraḥ putraśokaḥ. I don't want to live. I would like rather pray to God that I should die before you die. That would be the wish of every father, No parent can tolerate the death of their own kids while they are living, right? And now this poor Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they have survived the death of their 99 sons. Now at least Parameshwara should do, anukampa on them. Parameshwara should bless them and take his lives. That is what he is wishing. Baladeva just remarks, Bhuh kashtam, duryodhananirāśasya. This old man has lost every hope that Duryodhana will survive, and therefore duryodhananirāśasya nityāstamitacakṣuṣaḥ. This sammīlitacakṣuṣi or janmandhata has been emphasized all the time throughout this play, so that our sympathy also flows for Dhritarashtra. Okay? nityāstamitacakṣuṣaḥ na shaknomi atra bhavatah kartum atmanivedanam. Now Baladeva is there. Now this poor Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, because of their blindfoldedness, they can't see Baladeva, but Baladeva can see them. And in other circumstances, he would have gone near them and done the namaskara. Oh, I am here, Baladeva, because you can't see me. For the blind people, you only have to approach them and tell who you are. But now, kartum atmanivedanam na shaknomi. I can't go and present myself to atra bhavan, respectful person like Dhritarashtra. We already seen how Dhritarashtra is described, like kanaka yupa stambha vilambi bahu, etc. So, na shaknomi atra bhavatah kartum atmanivedanam. Atra bhavatah, it is shashthyanta pada, and there are two visheshanas, two adjectives in the first line of Anushtup Chanda. Duryodhananirāśasya, one who has lost all hopes for Duryodhana's life now, and nityāstamitacakṣuṣaḥ, one whose eyes are always closed, one who cannot see anything. Nityāstamitacakṣuṣaḥ. Then the king says, Vidnyāpayāmi atra bhavatim. King is Duryodhana, okay? Vidnyāpayāmi. He has already talked to his father that you should not grieve, and I have bent down only at thy feet, and yenaiva mānena samaṃ prasūtas, making his father very proud. He has already talked to his father. Now to his mother he wants to talk. And the way Duryodhana talks to his father and the way he talks to his mother, just see the emotional transformation Bhasa has brought out here. With the father, when he's talking about the Kula Pratishtha, about his mana, about his self-respect, about his being the king and all that, like Kuru Samrajya, Raja and all that. For a mother, what she would love more is her son would remain a son for her. Howsoever old he becomes, माँ के लिए बेटा तो छोटा ही होता है, right? So for that, it's an emotional appeal to her. When he's talking to her, it's more on the emotional front, and while talking to his father, he's talking from the perspective of a king talking to another king, okay? So that is the difference. You just note the difference between these two verses, the way he talks to his father and the way he talks to his mother. So, Vidnyāpayāmi atra bhavati, Bhana jata, speak up my child. What do you want to say? Bhana jata. He says again in the Anushtup Chanda, this is Namaskritya bhanami tvam yadi punyam maya kritam. Namaskritya bhanami tvam yadi punyam maya kritam anyasyam api jatyam me tvameva janani bhava. Yadi punyam maya kritam, if at all I have done something good, some meritorious deeds, if at all, I know I am not that good. Now this is the time when he is repenting for all what he has done. We will see, and there is a very poignant remark by Baladeva, Aho vairaha paschāttapah samvruttaha. Vaira, the animosity, has turned into repentance now. Duryodhana never repented so far for his ill deeds, for his adharmika kritya. But now is the time when he is almost on the verge of death. He recollects that whatever he has done so far was really not good. And so now he is gathering, maine kuch acha kiya hai, to, So when you see Yama's dutas coming to take your prana, perhaps you want to appeal to that emotion of a mother. You want to appeal to all that whatever good you have done. On the basis of that, if there is some punya in my adrishta, in my account, see, this is how our karma siddhanta, our mīmāmsa principles, they percolate in our life. In Mīmāmsa, this karma siddhanta and the concept of adrishta or apurva, adrishta pūrvaṃ yat, tat apurvam. Okay, apurva is adrishta purva. And what is apurva? I may tell you, this is a very great concept in Mīmāmsa. And whatever good or bad a person does throughout his life, that goes on accumulating chitaha, upachitaha bhavati, karma rupena, vasana rupena, samskara rupena, sarvam chitam bhavati. And on the basis of that, you get your next birth. If the punya is more, like this, you balance it, you weigh it, your punya karmas are more, you would get a good birth. If your papa karmas are more heavier, that balance, then you will get a bad yoni. So it is all an apurva karma principle. Okay. So yadi punyam maya kritam. If at all I have done some good, then on the basis of that I would beg that anyasyam api jatyam me tvameva janani bhava. In my next birth also, you be my mother. Namaskritya bhanami tvaṃ. I bow down to you and I just pray that if at all I have done some good in my life, I have been a good son. Maybe I am not a good cousin for the Pandavas. Okay, I always fought with them. But then for a mother, her son is always a good son. No? And for every child also, my mother is the best mother or most beautiful woman in the world, right? You know that story, right? So, namaskritya bhanami tvaṃ yadi punyam maya kritam anyasyam api jatyam me tvameva janani bhava. Firm belief in rebirth, punarjanma. Firm belief that I will get a next birth, and in that birth I want to be your son. You be my mother. Mama manorathaha khalu tvaya bhanitaha. Bas mere muँह की बात छीन ली. That's what in Hindi we would say, right? मेरे मुँह की बात छीन ली. Mama manorathaha khalu tvaya bhanitaha. You talked whatever was there in my mind. This is my wish as well. Malavi tvam api shruno. Now he has talked to the father, talked to the mother. Now his two wives who have come on the battleground and his son, they need to be addressed. This is the last address of the king, right? So whatever he speaks now, thereafter, there won't be even a moment to speak for him, even a single sentence. So whatever he speaks, you have to listen in your karana samputa, you have to just gather that. So everybody on the battlefield has the same spirit now. These are the last words of the king to that particular person. So Malavi tvam api shruno. You also listen. Malavi, there are two wives who have come, Pauravi and Malavi. From what Bhasa writes, I mean, we don't have these names in the Mahabharata, okay? But from what Bhasa writes, we can guess, we can conjecture that Pauravi, the other wife, whom he will address in the next verse, perhaps she is the Mahishi or the Pattarani, and Malavi is a younger queen. And that is quite evident from her response also to the verse. So first he tries to console the younger queen, and then he will talk to the chief queen. See, that is also very important. As a chief queen, the queen will have all the right, of being at the side of her husband in every good and bad thing, every good and bad. but the younger queens have lesser opportunities to be besides their husband in the public functions and public events like that. So Duryodhana makes it a point to address his younger queen first. That also shows the magnanimity of his स्वभाव, how generous he is. छोटे बच्चों को पहले बोलते हैं, बाद में बड़ों से. So in the queens he has made this distinction, that is quite sure. So this is a big vritta, Shardula Vikridita. भिन्ना मे भ्रुकुटी गदा निपतितैर्व्यायुद्ध कालोत्थितैः वक्षस्युत्पतितैः प्रहार रुधिरैः हारावकाशो हृतः पश्येमौ व्रणकाञ्चनाङ्गदधरौ पर्याप्तशोभौ भुजौ भर्ता ते न पराङ्मुखो युधि हतः किं क्षत्रिये रोदिषि. Addressing her as Kshatriye. Kshatriye, Kim Rodishi. Why are you weeping? Why are you crying? You should not lament on my death. Kshatriye, because the address is Kshatriya. You must be sure that your husband, being a Kshatriya, will either win or die while fighting. Right? So, being a Kshatriya lady, a Kshatra Dharma Yukta lady, you should be having this firmly, in your mind, that your husband will either win and Rajpat bhogega, or he will die while fighting against the enemies. So, Kim Kshatriye, he is not addressing by her name. Malavit Mahapi Shrudu, he calls her, but then addresses her Kshatriye. So this itself, this address itself is so significantly, this word is used so significantly that it is to console her and ask her to stop lamenting on his death. Why Kim Rodishi? Why should you cry? That means you should not cry. Why? There is a karana given, a poetic reason. Okay? Karana. What is that karana? Bharta te na parangmukhaha yudhi hataha. It is not that he is dying because of some illness, because he is sick, because he met with some accident and this and that. Yudhi hataha. He is dying in the battlefield, in the rana. For a Kshatriya, that is like, veermala pehenne layak hai. So, yudhi hataha. And na parangmukhaha, he never turned his back. These are the two things which you should always keep in your mind and take pride in that. Oh, my husband never turned back, never escaped, never fled from the battlefield and died while fighting. Okay. So, bharta te na parangmukhaha, number one, and yudhi hataha. Without turning his back, he fought and died. So, Kim Kshatriye Rodishi. There is no reason to lament in this. And then he talks about how and kya jhela hai usne, right? So, what all he has done while fighting. Bhinna me bhrukuti. See the gada prahara on my head. My bhrukutis are chinna bhinna. My eyebrows I have twisted and turned out. They have come out. The eyes would pop out then. Bhinna me bhrukuti gada nipatitaihi vyayuddha kalotthitaihi. By what? Gada nipatitaihi. By the praharas of gada. Gadayaha nipatanam, nipatitam, taihi. Constantly, ajasram gadapataihi. And that happened when? Vyayuddha kalotthitaihi. Utthita, it happened, it generated during Yuddha Kala. Which is Yuddha? It is Vyayuddha Kala. V plus A plus Yuddha. That is Visheshena or Viruddha Pakshena Saha Yuddham. So there are only two people. It is a duel. It is called Malla Yuddha or Dvandva Yuddha. Gada Yuddha can't happen between many people. There are only two. Gada Yuddha. See, if you are fighting with a bow and an arrow, then one person can fight with 10 and hundreds of people. But Gada Yuddha can happen only between the two. Therefore, it is vyayuddha. It is vishishtam yuddham. Ekaha eva viruddhaha pakshaha tatra. And therefore, we could be viruddha, we could be vishishta. See the upasarga, how different meanings evolve. So, gada nipatitaihi, the gada nipat has happened at what time? Vyayuddha kala. Vyayuddha kalotthitaihi, gada nipatitaihi, me bhrukuti bhinna. Clear? The first sentence, very clear. Vakshasi utpatitaihi, prahara rudhiraihi, haravakasho hritaha. Normally on the vaksha, on the broad chest of the king, there would be so many golden malas because he is a king. Hara, necklaces. Hara has to be a big necklace. You know, like in the Vedas, Rudra would wear hara. It would have nishka. It is called nishka. Rudra's hara is called nishka. He has got a very broad pendant. Rudra, the Maruts in the Vedas, they are very fond of gold ornaments. But normally, other than that, the kings wear all these big haras. Okay, hara has to be big. Otherwise, it would be muktavali. It is not a muktavali. It is hara has to be a golden with large, broad pendant in between and all. So, haravakashaha ritaha. The hara would, roll on the wide chest, broad chest of a king. But the chest doesn't look the chest because vakshasi utpatitaihi prahara rudhiraihi. There are so many strikings on my chest and the springs and the fountains of blood have come out of it that there is no space for the hara. Harasya krite avakashaha yaha saeva ritaha. Haravakashaha ritaha. Kena ritaha? Kaihi va ritaha? Rudhira praharaihi. Kutra rudhira praharaihi? Vakshasi utpatitaihi. He jumping Bhimasena and hitting him hard on. You can visualize the entire picture. Vakshasyutpatitair pravaha rudhiraihi haravakasho ritaha. So the vakshas is gone, the bhrukuti and this head portion is gone from yahan se niche, and now the bhuja. My two arms. Pashya imau vrana kanchana angadadharau paryapta shobhau bhujau. From top he is coming and the last is his uru. That he can't show. That is unethical. Right? Unethical. I mean, prahara on the uru itself is unethical. It was a vanchana. And now, on the stage, nobody can show the jangha and the uru like that, right? And therefore, Bhasa has kept that decorum. And he is describing the bhrukuti, then the vakshas and the uru, kramena. Okay? Pashya imau bhujau paryapta shobhau. The bhuja would be otherwise ornamented, decorated with bajuband, armlets. What is that? Armlet? What do you call? Bajuband? Yeah, anklet. We say armlet. Okay. So, jo bajuband pehna jata hai, so that is called angada. Okay. So, pashya imau, now instead of that angada, angadas have fallen from the hands, from the arms. And in the place of angadas, there is the vrana kanchana angadam. Vrana, there is vrana now. Instead of the kanchana angada on my arm, there is a mark of red blood. So, the bhujas have been shattered. Okay, pashimau bhujau. Paryapta shobhau, they would once upon a time look so beautiful with kanakangada. In the place of kanakangada now, only blood is there. So all over my body, Bhimasena has hit me. Now there is no chance. So I am going to die. But you should take pride, O Malavi, you are a Kshatriya. And therefore you should take pride that your husband did not turn his back and he died while fighting. Na parang mukhaha te bharta yudhihataha kshatriye kim rodishi. Why should you cry? So this is the way, most beautiful, most respectful way to console his wife. She says, Bala esha sahadharmacharini rodimi ataha rodimi. Bala. So what I said, she must be a younger queen. She herself says, Bala esha. This is just a small young wife of yours. And sahadharmacharini, I always followed you. I followed you in your footsteps. So I really feel sorry for you. And ataha rodimi, because I am Bala, I am rodimi. I am crying, right? The other queen won't cry. Pauravi, she will not cry. Bhasas Pauravi, Bhasas Malavi. Okay? So, Bala esha sahadharmacharini. Ataha, you have to add, ataha rodimi. Therefore, I am crying. Okay? Pauravi tvamapi shruno. Vedoktair vividhair makhair abhimatairhi ishtam dhrita bandhavaha shatrunam uparisthitam priyashatam davyamsitas samshritaha yuddhe ashtadasha vahini nripataya santapita nigrhe mānam mānini vīkṣame nahi rudanti evam vidhanam striyaha. Her he addresses as Mānini, not Kshatriya. Yenaiva mānena samaṃ prasūtas, and you are my sahadharmacharini, you are my Mahishi, chief queen, and therefore you share my mana, and therefore you are Mānini. So you are not Bala like Malavi, you are Mānini. Okay? So you should maintain that spirit of a chief queen. Okay? Mānini me mānam vīkṣya. You look at my spirit. How bravely I am facing the death. I am embracing the death. So you should also take pride in that. You should be respectful for my death. Evam vidhanam striyaha nahi rudanti. If you look at me and my mana, then you would only realize that the ladies, the women, the wives of such people, such like me, evam vidhanam striyaha nahi rudanti, they never cry. And therefore, hey Mānini, you should look at my mana and should not grieve at all on my death. Then the first three lines, what is that mana which she must also carry with her. Okay? Vedoktaihi vividhaihi makhaihi abhimataihi ishtam. I performed yajnayagas. Ishtam, yaja. So it is dviprakritika dhatu. Yaja is a dviprakritika dhatu. So sometimes there is a samprasarana, sometimes there is no samprasarana. Like in Sanskrit people, you must be knowing that. So yaja would become yajamana, yajate, etc. But other kridantas, it becomes ishtam, ishtva, not yajitva. It becomes ishtva. So it is a samprasarana. So yaja and ija, these are the dviprakritika dhatus. Okay. So yaja is a dviprakritika. Ishtam, I performed. Ishti, I performed yagas, yajnas, vedoktaihi, vividhaihi, makhaihi, abhimataihi. What all was expected of me to do as a king, abhimata, which was agreeable for all to be done, that a king should do these pujas, these sacrifices, etc. Vividhaihi, makhaihi, makha is yajna. Makha is yajna, the nirukti could be very interesting of makha. Yajna is derived from yaja. Ishti is also derived from yajas, another prakriti, ija. Okay, so ishta. But makha, it is said that ka is a chidra. Kham, hole, H-O-L-E, hole, chidram. Okay, where there is no chidra, not a single loophole, that is yajna. Makha. Ma is a negation. Okay, where in that activity, in normal puja, there may be some loopholes, and therefore we do kshamapana. Kshama Yat pujitam maya deva paripurnam tadastu me. Okay? So whatever I did, if there is some mistake, please forgive me. And paripurnam tadastu me. So avahanam na janami tadarchanam, etc. But yajna has to be perfect. There is no room for any mistake, any loophole. So kha, there is no kha. Okay? There is no chidra. I mean, this is just a vitpatti I heard somewhere. So vedoktaihi, vividhaihi, makhaihi, abhimataihi, all these are the tritiyanta visheshanas of the yajnas, the yagas. Ishtam, I did all that. Dhrita bandhavaha, I held my bandhavas, my relations, I maintained my relations. Relations means it becomes an extended family. Now Pauravi's family, her parents, her brothers, her siblings. So I maintained all my relations. Dhritaha bandhavaha. So I performed various agreeable, coveted Vedic sacrifices, Vedic yajnas. Then I supported, I maintained the relatives. Shatrunam uparisthitam priyashatam navyamsitaha samshritaha. Shatrunam uparisthitam, I always stood above all my enemies. I never succumbed down. I never did sharanagati, accepted sharanagati to them. I always stood above my enemies, and my dependents were not deprived of hundreds of pleasures from me. Ye samshritaha, those who are dependent on me, te priyashatam navyamsitaha, they were not deprived. Vyamsitaha, take away, deprive. Okay? They were not deprived from priyashata. Shata is not just 100. Whatever they wanted, they got what they wished for. Okay? So the dependence on me, if they wished to get something, I took care that they would be given all those facilities which they desired for. So mama samshritaha priyashatam navyamsitaha, they were not deprived from anything they wanted. Yuddhe ashtadasha vahini nripatayaha santapitaha nigrahe. Nigraha is where you bind and put them, that's a jail, kara, bandigriha, nigraha. So nripatayaha santapitaha, the kings who were, tortured or who were defeated by me. Ashtadasha vahini nripatayaha, the kings of Ashtadasha vahini. Ashtadasha vahini, akshauhini, the 18 divisions of the army, the leaders of those, I defeated all of them and I put them in the jail. That means I have done whatever is desired from a king by the praja, that the Raja should be dharmika, because yatha Raja tatha praja, and therefore I did all the Vaidika makhas. As far as personal relations are concerned, dhritaha bandhavaha, I maintained and I supported all my relatives. Shatrunam uparisthitam, I always had an upper hand on the Shatrus. Those who were dependents on me, apart from the Bandhavas, apart from my blood relations, the other dependents on me, they were also provided whatever they wanted. And the Mandalikas, the feudatory kings, I defeated and I put them into jail. That means that proves my bravery, that proves my dharmikatva, that proves my caretaking nature, everything. So I did whatever I could with great high spirit. So you look at that spirit of mine and oh Mānini, na evam vidhanam striya rudanti. So you just, he doesn't tell her, don't cry. To Malavi, he is saying, Kim kshatriye rodishi, why are you crying? And here he doesn't tell her not to cry, he just gives an example that ladies of such self-respectful people, never lament. So now you decide who you are. I have already addressed you as Mānini, and so this must be his chief queen. Then she says, Ekakrita pravesha nishchaya narodimi. That also endorses our viewpoint that she must be the chief queen, right? Mahishi. Ekakrita pravesha nishchaya. So I have already decided that I will enter the funeral pyre along with you. I will go sati. I mean, I will not live without you. Ekakrita pravesha nishchaya. Praveshaha kutra? Chitayam. Chitakrita pravesha nishchaya narodimi. I will not cry. Because I know I am not living. I am coming. I am following you. Wherever you are, chayevānugata sada. In Ramayana, while Sita is given in marriage, Janaka tells Rama, she will follow you, chaya iva anugata sada, like your shadow. So the pativrata stri is like chaya. So wherever you go, I will come, I will follow you. Durjaya tvamapi shrunu. He has something for Durjaya, his son. Dhritarashtra and Gandhari are worried now. What he will say to his son? To both his wives he has consoled that he is going to die, they should not lament and this and that. What he will speak to the son? Gandhari, kim nu khalu vakshati? Ahamapi tadeva chintayami. I don't know what he will speak. I am curious to listen. Raja tells Durjaya, aham iva pandavaha sevitavyaha. See, simple one sentence. He is a small kid. He can't give, lamba shlok, Shardula Vikridita. He just has to give a small pithy sentence which the small kid would follow. Aham iva sevitavyaha ke pandavaha. You serve Pandavas as you have been serving me. Give them the same respect. Change in Duryodhana's nature altogether, right? Aham iva pandavaha sevitavyaha. And again, further, he explains what he really means by ahamiva. He says, Tatra bhavatyaha cha ambayaha kuntyaha nideshaha vṛddhasya. As you have been following the orders of Atra bhavati Gandhari, now Tatra bhavatyaha ambayaha, the mother. She is cousin's mother, as good as mother, Chachi. So, kuntyaha nideshaha vṛddhasya. You have to obey her commands. Abhimanyoho janani draupadi cha ubhe matruvat pūjayitavye. You should respect. Pūjayitavya, not with gandha pushpanjali. Pūjayitavya, give respect, regard them. As you are giving regard to your own mother, Pauravi and Malavi, similarly, pūjayitavye ke abhimanyoho janani. Because why? He could have said Subhadra Draupadi cha. Abhimanyoho janani, somewhere when he is seeing the death messengers in front of him, perhaps killing of Abhimanyu is pricking his heart. That was an adharma which he did, right? Great adharma which he did. Our son, like my own son, I am killing my brother's son. So that perhaps, is killing him, that is haunting his mind. And therefore he says, Abhimanyu. I mean, some such words we have to take. I mean, perhaps Bhasa did not intend it. But why, if we look at every word, so this is what reading between the lines is. This is what Vyanjana means. He won't clearly say that I repent the killing of Abhimanyu. He doesn't have that much time now. But while telling his son Durjaya, he says, Abhimanyoho janani. Why he should remember Abhimanyu? At the deathbed, you remember all the good and bad things you have done. So this is the bad thing he has done. Abhimanyoho janani draupadi cha ubhe matruvat pūjayitavye. Pashyaputra shlaghya shrirabhimana deepta hridayo duryodhano me pita tulye nabhimukham rane hataiti tvam shokamevam tyaja spṛष्ट्वा चैव युधिष्ठिरस्य विपुलं क्षौमापसव्यं भुजं देयं पाण्डुसुतैस्त्वया मम समं नामावसाने jalam. Beautiful verse and very apt, especially when I am reading it today on the day of Mahalaya, on the day of the Sarvapitri Amavasya day, when Pitru Puja is going on. You do tarpana, you do at least, if not the pinda, if not the tilahoma, at least a jalanjali in the name of remembering all your forefathers, all those kith and kin and the gurus who are no more with you today, right? So this is very significant, especially when I am reading it today. So, deyam pandusutaihi samam tvaya mama namavasane jalam. Deyam kim? Jalam. Tvaya jalam deyam. Jalam deyam kasya krite? Mama krite. Mama namavasane. Mama namavasane, you utter something which ends in my name. Nama avasane, namante. That means remembering my name, you should give water to me. Along with whom? Pandusutaihi. Because the Pandusutas will be offering Jalanjali for all the Kauravas. They are in the same family. So they have to do the Tarpana for all. And Yudhishthira did Tarpana for everybody, uttering the names. So, deyam pandusutaihi tvaya mama samam namavasane jalam. Is that clear? Doing it with Pandusuta, but all Pandusutas will be seated there. Who would do it actually? Yudhishthira would do. The Jyeshtha Pandava would do it. Yudhishthirasya vipulam kshauma apasavyam bhujam spṛष्ट्वा. Touching. Spṛष्ट्va, having touched. Bhujam, the arm. Of whom? Yudhishthirasya. Vipulam kshauma apasavyam bhujam. Apasavyam bhujam. Apasavya is what? Apasavya is right or left? Savya, apasavya. Apasavya is right. Savya is left, right? Because Arjuna is called Savyasachi. That means he can have the arrows released by the left hand, Savyasachin. Holding the bow in the right hand. Normally, people would hold the bow in the left hand and shoot an arrow with a right hand. He can do it with the left hand as well. So, he is Savyasachin. So, Apasavyam Kritva, touching the right hand, right arm of Yudhishthira. Vipulam, broad arm. Vipula is not so big, but broad arm, not a very Krishna. Okay. So, Vipulam bhujam spṛष्ट्va, and how it is bhuja? Kshauma. Kshauma, which has kshauma, the white silk cloth as an uttariya. Kshauma. Kshaumam kena chidindu pandu taruna Shakuntala, right? When Shakuntala was going, Kshaumam kena chidindu pandu taruna. So, a white silken cloth was given to her, Vidai ke samay, by some vriksha devata. So, spṛष्ट्va chaiva yudhishthirasya vipulam kshaumāpasavyam bhujam. Okay? Having touched the right hand, which is covered by the white silk cloth, of whom? Of Yudhishthira, you should give me, along with other Pandusutas, jala. Okay? Uttering my name. And thinking what? Shlaghya shrihi abhimana deepta hridayaha me pita duryodhanaha tulyena abhimukham rane hataha iti tvam shokam tyaja. You, having discarded, having left aside, having abandoned the grief that of the death of my father, thinking that my father was killed by tulyena, by a competent, worthy opponent, abhimukham, face to face, not turning back, face to face, abhimukham, abhimukha is one thing and tulyena hataha, not by any Tom, Dick and Harry. Tulya. Tulyena hataha. Ani rane hataha. And third thing is rane. Okay. So rana, abhimukha, tulyena hataha iti kritva shokam tyaktva me pita duryodhanaha. How is my pita? Shlaghya shrihi. Whose shri, whose vaibhava, whose wealth, shrihi, is shlaghya, is coveted by all. I mean, he is such a, what you can say, affluent king, Kaurav Samrajya ka Raja hai, right? And therefore, shlaghya shrihi, with very, what, covetable wealth and commendable, appreciable wealth, abhimana deepta hridayaha, and one whose heart is always ablaze with self-respect. Tādriṣaha me pita rane hataha abhimukham hataha tulyena hataha iti manasi vichintya shokam tyaktva yudhishthirasya vipulam kshaumāpasavyam bhujam spruštva he durjaya tvaya mama namavasane pandusutaihi saha jalam deyam. So this jaladana, especially on this Shraddha day, is very, very important, and I think we'll stop here. Today I would like to request all others who have joined here. We are having a live Pitru Puja and Kathopadesha Parayana. Now it's going on in the temple, so you may join the Chinfo. You can just visit our site and see the link thereon, and you can watch the live puja there. So many people have given names, and we all will be remembering our forefathers today. I appeal to you that you also remember all those who are no more with us anymore now, but we are because they were, and therefore just remembering them on this day matters much, much more. It is our Pitru Runa, one of the three runas which our Sanatana Dharma speaks of. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. See you next Sunday. Till then, Hari Om.